Dr. Real TV. We got a story from Support Court. Judge Vonda B. I like that show. I might do a couple videos from that. About a guy who was paying child support and after he found out the kid wasn't his. Like you hear about the deadbeats, but you never hear about the alive beats. So let's check this out.
And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So tell us about you.
Oh, so
What happened?
first off, my name is Myron Johnson. I'm from the Dallas area, graduated from Duncanville High School. Worked at a local radio station here in the early 2000s. So,
Man, why was you paying that child
yeah,
support? We don't
I
care
have
about
an
all that.
interesting story about a child support.
What
Okay.
is it?
All right. So tell us about it. Start us off. How did we get to
Because it
the
wasn't at
child support
Duncanville High
situation
School and
exactly?
that radio
Oh,
station.
well, a friend of mine, we were close friends. We used to mess around, and we ended up having a kid together.
Okay. How long did you all mess around, per se?
I would say for a couple of years. You know, we was friends. She went off to college, and so.
Oh,
I
my
was
bad.
still
It
here.
was at Duncanville High
So we
School.
were
Okay, that's
connected
why
at
he
some
broke up the high
time,
school.
and,
My bad.
You know, we established a friendship before we even had a kid, and then
Is that what people call the lovers and friends type situation?
yeah, I guess.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I worked in radio, so she felt like I was moving around a lot.
All right.
So we
Okay,
didn't
he
do,
brung up that. Okay, it did. It
you
was
know, we didn't do
relevant.
the girlfriend, boyfriend generic thing.
My bad.
So,
Respectfully.
we ended up having a kid together,
No, y'all didn't.
and I ended up getting on child support in a way that I don't think most people are aware of.
Okay. So let me back you up a little bit. The two of you were messing around.
Mm-hmm.
You all had a friendship. She ends up pregnant. You all have a child.
Correct.
At the time
He's
that
so
the child
scorned,
was
he's still
born,
calling it his
when,
kid.
if
We
at all,
already
did you
know it ain't your
sign
kid
a,
by the title of the
birth
video.
certificate, or did you have a DNA test? What was the story behind that?
So what happened was after we had the baby, I claimed him on my first income tax.
Okay.
I was audited, and so I basically had to prove that he was my son.
Okay.
And so one of the fastest ways to do that, if you're not already on child support, is to sign an acknowledgement of paternity.
Okay.
So I signed an acknowledgement of paternity. I actually drove it to Austin. They did everything in like a day. So I got the birth certificate, was able to send it to my taxes, and then boom, I got my taxes. So it was nothing to think about at that time because
He was
I
trying to
had
get
no
them
reason
taxes
to
bad as
suspect
hell. He
that
drove it all the way to
he
Austin.
wasn't my
He-
child when I
Okay.
signed the acknowledgement of paternity.
They wasn't trying to give
so-
the
Let
taxes
me ask you a
back.
question about that
He
acknowledgement.
wasn't
of
acknowledging
paternity,
that
because
paternity. He
and
was acknowledging
you'll have to
that
forgive
money
me,
back.
We abbreviate things
Trying
a
to
lot.
get that
AOP,
bread.
all right.
Okay, yeah.
Did you know at the time you signed the acknowledgement of paternity what that actually meant?
I guess
Yeah,
I
he
should
was
say
gonna get
yes
his
and no.
taxes.
Okay. What do you mean by yes and no?
Because at the time,
Yes,
felt
he was gonna get his
I
taxes.
didn't know that.
No, he didn't know he was gonna have
could
to pay that child
possibly
support.
Hold, basically, even if you find out that you're not the father, that it would still hold you legally responsible for that child. And so that's the part that I didn't know, and I think the reason why I didn't know that is because I didn't go into it thinking that
Which
what
is a
ended up
messed up
happening
law. Let's get
would
to
happen.
that.
All right.
Which is a messed up law that even if you find out the child isn't yours, you're still legally obligated for it. Like why? But it is what it is.
All right.
Meaning, when I signed it, I was 100% sure that my son was my son.
Okay. Now you
Right.
mentioned something about
I'm not mad at him for that though.
child.
Even though he was
How
trying to
did
get the
that
taxes.
impact
He still
what
thought
your
it was his
beliefs
kid.
were about the child, Myron Morrell Johnson Jr., right? Mm-hmm. How did that impact your
And he was
feelings
named
about
after him,
signing that
damn.
acknowledgement of paternity?
Uh, it in the beginning, I had my second son look identical to me,
Okay.
and so there was a few people, family included, that never really believed that Myron Morrell Johnson Jr. was even my child,
Cause he ain't.
even my grandmother.
Your grandma's smart.
And so,
Wise
I
old
never would go
woman,
take the
respectfully.
DNA test because I felt like I wasn't
Grandma
going to
knew.
prove to somebody else that my
She,
child is mine.
That was my next question. Why didn't you act on that when someone like your grandmother, I'm assuming you have a close relationship with her.
Uh,
Grandma was like, baby, I don't know. He don't got that them Johnson lips. You know, we all got them same lips. Grandma wasn't having it. Grandma
Okay,
wasn't
all
playing.
right. And this
Grandma
person
knew.
is telling you this. Why not act on it?
I don't know. I don't know if it was because that was my first
His
son,
pride
and
and his
I didn't. My mom was attached. I don't know. There's a lot of emotions that go through that. You know what I'm
pride
saying?
is one of them.
But the main one was that I wasn't gonna prove to my family that somebody I felt like was my child was mine,
Right. He was going to be yours regardless.
regardless.
Okay.
Right. And so,
All right.
Pride.
and
So this other child comes into the play, looks just
I don't have
like
to prove
you.
nothing to y'all.
What was going
When
through your
Grandma
mind at
was
that time?
trying to tell you with them
at the
Johnson
time,
lips.
still just I got 2 sons. So
Okay.
initially, it
Knew
was
he didn't
nothing.
have them Johnson lips.
Funny thing is that she, which is Myron's mother, is
Okay.
the one who kind of brought it about. She asked me a question like, it was something to the point that, do I wish that, and my other son's name is Jai, by the way.
Okay.
Do I wish Jai was born first and he had, like, if he was a junior?
Okay.
It was just weird. It was just,
That is a weird question. I haven't spoken to her to say what her intentions were.
Yeah, 'cause that would be a weird
It
question.
sounds like
What
she
you
asked
do?
that
Why would
question
she-
because your second son looked just like you.
looked just like me, my family. And it was at Lil Myron's birthday party, to be exact. Cause she had
No,
went
I
and
don't
bought
wish that. I
both
wish
of the
I
boys
already got a
and
junior. This is
matching
my
outfits.
junior.
Okay. And how old were the
Is he?
boys at this time?
4 and 3.
Okay.
Cause they're only like, not even a full year apart. But,
Okay.
Or they're right at a year apart. But yeah, so that happened, and then that started creating.
So you wasn't vetting your women properly. You were just
little
out
bit.
here just having babies.
Not more
just
of
your
a
accountability.
not that, like I thought
session.
mine wasn't mine, but more so like now I had to be sure,
Now you had to
How you
get
got a
the
baby,
DNA
then
test.
get
Now I
another
had to
girl
do it.
pregnant within
Okay.
4 months.
What happened next? Did you get the
That's your
DNA
fault.
testing?
Not instantly, it took a couple of months after that. Maybe
I'm
6
sorry,
to 8
I'm gonna
months,
treat you like
and then
Kendra
we-
G. Hey,
we eventually-
why you wasn't with the first baby mama? What happened with that situation? What you mean, bruh? At least that's yours. Now I want to ask. Hey, do you wish Ja was a junior? Now I'm asking the question. Hey, do you wish Ja was a junior? And Myron, it was born first. However she asked, I would have known. It's a good question. Now I want to know for a whole
had
different
several
reason.
different conversations about how we were gonna go about doing a DNA test. So I asked if she would go half with me on it, and she
How
agreed.
expensive are DNA tests exactly?
Oh man,
Judge, how you don't know?
they would pay about 2 something.
Okay.
They're probably a little cheaper now because it's, you can go to
Why would it be
the
cheaper?
store and get them. But we went to a reputable location in Fort Worth and did
Well,
it.
no, you could have went to a store then. I mean, what you
and
mean
we
now?
waited on the results.
Okay. How did you feel waiting on those results?
Well, maybe not, because he said
Again, to be
like
honest with
14
you,
or 13
I
or
don't.
something.
I didn't get
This was a
anxious
while ago,
until,
so maybe
like,
they couldn't have went to the store.
later on, because a week
Nah,
had
he
passed,
could've went to the
and they
store.
said it take about a week. And my little cousin was, jokingly telling me to call and find out, and I didn't want to do that.
Is it for the same reason as to why you didn't want to do the DNA testing? You didn't want to have to prove anything to your family members?
No,
On that
No,
one,
not this time. He done
I
already
think
took
I
the
had got
test
to that
now.
point where I was unsure. I was scared. I didn't know
See, yeah,
what
he-
was I gonna do if it come back. If he come back mine, I'm good.
too late once he already took
whatever.
the test.
But
All that
then I
proving
had
to the
start
family
thinking
mess out
about
the
what if it
window once
wasn't
you
mine.
swab that mouth.
And that's
Now you gotta prove it to
emotions
yourself.
in itself. And so we finally ended up doing the DNA test. I went out of town for like a week to Atlanta, and I came back, and then I got the worst news probably ever in my life.
Okay, so let's talk about that day. And I understand that this may trigger some emotions for you, but let's just go back in time to that day. Where were you exactly? I know you said you were working out of town.
Well, I had came back from out of town. The day I found out that he wasn't mine,
Yes.
it was. I want to say it was March the 23rd, 24th,
Yeah.
2009.
I can imagine a date like that, you wouldn't forget it.
Yeah. It was my little cousin's birthday, so I think
See,
the
this is
23rd.
2009. Maybe he couldn't have got a test at the store like that.
And so I had followed up. I did what she told me to do because I hadn't got my test results back yet. And so
When you say followed up with what she said
called.
to do
she
by
was like,
calling the
by
facility?
calling them, just
Okay.
calling the facility. And so I ended up, I was on, at the time I was on 161 in Irving. And
Exactly where he was at when his
I
heart
called.
dropped out his chest.
And so the lady, she asked me a bunch of information, you know, to tell me that she asked me if I was sure I wanted the results over the phone. So now
Yeah,
I'm
I
laughing
called
because I'm like, well, yeah, like, you know. And so she gave them to me. And she was like, in the case of Myra Morrell Johnson Jr., Myra Morrell Johnson Sr. is like 98.6% not the father, like basically. So I like, you know, I'm thinking it's a full 100 or it's whatever.
And you're driving at this point.
I'm driving, and so I merged
That boy
over.
about to crash off the
to
merge it
just
over.
kind of
all
asked.
right.
I heard her the first time, but you know, I just asked her to confirm it, and she told me again. She was like, "Yeah, there's no chance that that you're the father." And when she said it again, I was like, I just hung up.
Hell yeah, we don't know enough to talk
In
about.
that moment, did you know that?
No.
You know what? This is what I probably thought all along, but I didn't want to face it, or were you
I don't
in
think he
total
think that.
disbelief?
Nah, I was really in total disbelief.
I think,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like I
he
said,
don't
it was
seem like
never.
he
I didn't
thought
take
that.
the DNA test with the intention of
Because
him
he
not
ain't
being
wanna.
mine.
Right.
All right.
You know, by that time, you know, because at that time I wasn't on child support yet, and so
What?
you know,
So he got child
I
support
was
after
just
the
shocked.
fact.
Actually, I take it back. Actually, I was on child
Dang.
support because
Okay.
that was the idea that I was trying to fight to. All I wanted to do was get off of child support.
After the
After I
results
found out,
came
yeah, because I wanted to stay in this life and I wanted to, you know, I was hurt, you
All right, I'm
know,
about to
by
say,
finding
how
out
you
he
get on
wasn't
top of
mine, but I
after?
still wanted to, because
Okay.
he was getting ready to turn 5, so I was all he knew, and he got my whole name, so it was like, yeah, he's not my child, but I've been raising him like mine, but I didn't want to be held legally responsible at the time.
Respectfully,
And
like,
so
you know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
when-
I do
that's when
stuff, but they don't know it
AOP
ain't
came
coming
back,
out my check and all that stuff.
you know.
I'ma
Okay.
still be around,
Let
but
me
don't try to.
ask you this.
Ain't nobody else gonna
How
make
was
me
that
if I don't want
conversation
to.
with the mom after you found out what the results were?
Well, you know, like, to be honest with you, she didn't do what I thought she would have done in that sense, because to be honest with you, she
What'd
had
she
already
do?
called and found out.
Yeah, she
How
sneaky.
did you find that out?
Because later on that evening, after me and her, after I'm pretty sure I said some
Went the hell
not
off.
so good things to her or whatever.
No, you went the hell off. I would have too. I feel you.
And that next day, later on that night, she ended up telling me that she had already called and got the results, like that morning.
Oh wow.
So when I got the results, I was calling her at work, and basically at the time she was telling them to tell me like she was unavailable. Like she was at work, but she was busy, and she was like doing nursing or something at the time. So that wasn't weird. But the
Okay.
fact that she
Yeah,
hadn't
so
called me
she
back,
already knew. So
and I
when
had
he
called
got
her a
on them
couple
calls,
times,
like,
that was weird. And so
yeah, She was at work. First of all, she already called and found out. So then, when they kept telling her, like, hey, listen, hey, yo, baby, he don't never call up there. You know he don't. There's no reason for him to call up there. So he ain't never called up there before. And now he done called twice. They like, hey, Myron, your child's father's trying to get a hold of you. Can't tell him I'm busy. Yeah, I'm busy. She doing, I'm with a client. I'm with a client.
anxiety grew.
Hell yeah,
because
busy.
I'm thinking like, 'cause I'm not gonna lie, I thought
She wanted
I
to
thought
work
she
a
just
triple
knew,
that day.
you
She's
know.
like, y'all sure? Y'all don't want to mandate me? Y'all don't want to? You sure? I haven't got nothing to do. I can work. Nah. She wanted to work she wanted to work 36 hours that day.
And was just like ashamed or embarrassed or whatever. But then when I found out she had actually called and got the information before I did, it made me feel even worse because I was like, why wouldn't you
Share the information.
share the information with me? You know what I'm saying? Or why wouldn't you?
Because
And so
she
they created
found
a
out it
whole
wasn't
whirlwind
his.
of issues because on one part I'm thinking, did she know I wasn't the father this whole time? Or,
Yes.
is this just a total shock to everybody? You know what I mean?
Now, how's it gonna be a
And
total
so they
shock to her?
created they
I don't want to hear all that. She knew she was messing with somebody else, so it ain't no total shock to her. Like, it may be a little bit of a shock to her. Like, she might have thought it was you, so it's kind of shocking, but ain't no total shock to her. She know what she was doing with that box.
created a mix
She don't get the total shock
emotional
card
feelings.
out of
You
her.
know
No,
what I'm
no,
saying?
no.
It killed our friendship at the time.
Understandably so. I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying about how
No, they
that
can't.
pretty much destroyed you all's friendship.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah.
What impact
Hell yeah, we ain't
did it
friends no
have
more.
on your relationship with little Myron?
A lot, because I ain't
In
friends
the
with his mama.
beginning, it didn't really, cause he was still young. He was unaware of anything that was going on, and I wanted it like that. So even though me and her were,
Right, it ain't his
we
fault.
wasn't necessarily saying eye to eye because I truly didn't believe anything she said to me at that time.
Why would you? I don't
Respectfully
believe
so,
nothing
right?
she said, and I ain't
Because
never heard her
I've
talk.
been thinking this, 4.5 years, and then I find out a whole human being is not mine. So I had no reason to. I still tried to respect her, but I didn't have a reason to trust her or believe anything she said. So in the beginning, it was I would say normal as far as the relationship I had with him. It started to become abnormal because as weeks passed, like her nor her mom had even like really reached out to, I don't know, like
What?
I can't say I required sympathy, but it was
Yes,
like no kind of
I get it.
you all right, or
I kind of
I
get
know
it.
it's got to be tough for you.
I get it.
It was almost as
I
if
get what he's saying. Like, yo, like, y'all done found out this shocking thing, and now you gonna act like I ain't a part of the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel what he's saying. Like, I get it. It is sympathy. It's sympathy. You said you require sympathy. You said it's not like you're trying to be a man. You're trying to, I feel you. I'm a man too. I get it. No, you do require sympathy. Yep, it's sympathy. I'm giving it to you. Look at that look on his face. How pitiful he look. Talking about he don't require. Does that look like a face that doesn't require sympathy? Aww. Does that look like a face that doesn't require sympathy? Him even thinking it. This is years later. He said in 2009. This is years later, and he still got required sympathy face. Look at that face. That's a required sympathy face. So yes, I get you. We're men. We try to hide it and act like, oh, I'm a man. I don't need no sympathy. Yes, you do. You need some sympathy, fam. You ain't soft for it. We ain't gonna call you light skinned. We ain't gonna do none of that. We just gonna give you sympathy, bro. Come on, bro. Like, you need it.
everything just kept going for them, and so
Do you believe she and her mom knew that he was not your child? Or there was a possibility he was not your child?
I don't know about the mama. We ain't gonna put that. We ain't gonna make the mama hold the L.
Yeah,
But
before
we
the
gonna make
phone
the
call,
we ain't gonna make the
actually,
grandma
no,
hold the L.
I
But we gonna
don't.
make the mama
I
hold the
didn't.
L.
But then it was conversations.
She knew
after
she was
we had
doing with
found
that
out
box.
he's
I
not
ain't
mine,
holding,
that's
making
a
grandma
fact.
hold the
It was
L.
like she couldn't even agree to see the point. Like, you didn't think it was nobody possible. And so after talking to several older women and friends and relatives and most females or most women, I came to the conclusion, all said the same thing. It's like, if there's a chance that you might have slept with somebody else in the time you conceived, that
Then you know.
You might not want it to be this guy's or whatever, but and she couldn't even admit that.
Oh, wow.
So, and it took years for her to finally, for it to click to her. She was like, well, I always knew it was yours. And like, you didn't. 'Cause that
Man,
didn't
what
end
you
up
mean?
being the
No,
case.
you
But
didn't. You just
the
wanted
fact
it to
that
be
she couldn't
his.
really admit
Because
that,
you
like,
wasn't with
early
that dude. It
on,
was a
or
one
see
night
that,
stand or whatever.
It created
So you just
even
wanted it to
more,
be him.
you know,
He
like,
was a good
I don't think I
dude.
was asking for an apology, but just more like, come on, you didn't think it was somebody else.
Empathy.
No
Yeah.
apology.
Right? Like you can relate to this. Put yourself in my shoes type
Yeah.
situation. Empathy. All right. Did we ever find out who the dad was?
From what I was told, yes.
All right.
Because it wasn't like,
Why it take you so long?
I don't think it was a situation of she had a multitude of people she was. It wasn't that. It was just not wanting to believe or come to the realization that the other person that you were with at the time is technically the father.
Right.
Well, I
And
don't know
so
what
I
it
think
was.
it
I
took a
don't know
while,
which
and
one
then
it is
once,
because
she found out,
I don't believe nothing she said.
I
So
think he's been in the
I
picture.
can't
He's
trust your judgment of
been
her
in and out of the
character.
picture, but he never did anything.
So it might be multitude.
You know, to help with the situation that was at hand that was brought about by court.
Okay. So let's talk about court a little bit.
Let's talk about court a lot
You
because
were on
why
child
was he
support
paying that
at
child
the
support
time that
after
you
the?
found out through DNA testing that this was not your child, and you petitioned the court. Like, what happened? Like, how did that actually come about?
So, again, as I stated earlier, I only wanted to be off of child support. You know, I had
Right.
no intentions of not being in his life or any of that. I just,
Right,
like I said,
it had
and
nothing to
so
do with him.
that in itself creates hostility, right? So
Hostility between you and mom.
me and mom,
All
and
right.
so
Which
because
I don't know
I'm
why.
thinking we're on the same page as far as like, look, I just want to be off child support. We thought it was that simple, like she just go take me off child support, whatever. No,
She was in agreement to take you out child support.
initially.
Oh, okay. So it changed at some point.
Because the courts let us know that it don't work like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Which why not?
She's in
What did the
agreement
court
to
let
take
you
you
know?
off of child support. Do you all fill out any papers
We-
to agree?
Well, her part was kind of ended fast because the state let her know I had signed the announcement of paternity.
Right.
So the state of Texas, child support, we don't care if he ain't. That's really what it boils down to, right?
Clearly.
We don't care. So